Hello and welcome to Aggie Knits. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my inaugural video of Aggie Knits. So thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. Wow, it has been quite a year. Oh my goodness. This year I graduated college, I got married, I moved twice, had a baby. Yeah, I'm a mother and a wife now. And I started knitting, so that is very exciting. Yeah, this year has been a blessing. I feel as though I've really lived life to the fullest this year, and I'm just so grateful to have been able to, really. Comment below what you are most proud of this year. What are you most proud of, and what do you hope to be most proud of in the coming year? If you want to learn any new skills, or if you learned a new skill this year that you just want to share with someone, I am happy to hear about it. So just drop down below. And this episode 1, we are going to be reviewing my knits of the year. And keep looking down at my pile of garments that I know I'm gonna have to fold after, and nevertheless, let's begin. So to start out, I'm going to show you my first ever sweater. Now this sweater I knit 3 weeks after I started knitting, and it was quite the undertaking. I went to a yarn store and I went just to the front desk and I was like, oh, I just started knitting. I don't really know where to start. And she was like, okay, well, do you know what fiber you want to use? Which I think is a very good question. However, I should have paid more attention to the questions afterward. I said I wanted to use alpaca or wool. So she pointed me in the direction of the Juniper Moon Farm section. And she asked me how thick I wanted the sweater to be. And I was like, oh, I want it to be fairly light. So she advised me to go for a sport weight or a DK. I decided to go with a light fingering weight yarn. Not the brightest decision for me. I know that now, but this is my favorite sweater. This is the Polesie sweater by terentyeva. It is a fingering weight pattern. And notice I did say light fingering weight. I did not know the difference then. I do now. I knit this up in, I believe, 3 weeks to 3.5 weeks. And this is a full rib pattern. It is a top-down raglan in the round, of course. And I just love this sweater. Paired with the Juniper Moon Farm Herriot Fine in the shade Timber, or in the colorway Timber, it is just the absolute softest sweater. Oh my gosh, I wear it like 3 times a week probably. I love this sweater so much. I will be making another one. Yes, I suppose that is still a new one. This was my first ever sweater, my first ever rib sweater, my first raglan, my first fingering weight sweater, and very painfully, obviously, my first German short row sweater. There are just several rows of purl that are very obvious in the front and the back because I didn't really know what German short rows were at the time. And then, yes, this row right here, I just did 2 rows of knit in a row. I don't know why. I thought that I didn't think, but I love this sweater. Now, this sweater I would give a 10 out of 10 because I wear it every single day, or hyperbolic, but I wear it frequently. I wear it out, and it looks the same as it did when I first made it. Like, I'm looking at this, and it has a tiny bit of a halo because it's alpaca, but there is very minimal pilling. There's some, like, there, but I knit this sweater a year ago. I've never depilled it, not even once, and I would say it is due for a depilling, but probably not 2. This sweater, love it. The pattern, I would give an 8.24 because it was very well written, really nice. Just the formatting was a little confusing to me. It was 2 panels of text next to each other, and just all that black and white kept me a little bit confused. So that's that. This pattern was amazing. Absolutely love it. Once again, the Polesie sweater by terentyeva. I'll have a little video at some point during here. May already have passed of me with this sweater. All right, this next project just introduced me to the petite knitter, and I've not gone back since. I'm wearing a sweater of hers right now, but this right here is the Nocturnal jumper. And this Nocturnal jumper is knit up using Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino, and I used the shades, let's see, copper, pearl gray, and coal. So it's a obviously worsted weight sweater. I love it. It was my first ever color work pattern, which was so exciting for me. It just opened a whole new door into knitting. I love when there's that skill that you learn and that you solidify to be part of your skill set that then just opens a whole entire gateway to new patterns, to new concepts. Just, I love it. And this was the sweater that did that for me. It gave me a lot of confidence. It is a top-down circular yoke pattern, and it has a corrugated rib collar, cuff, and hem. Now, I don't like how the hem rolls up for me, and that is because I believe it's because I ended with a poor choice of bind off. I don't even remember what I did. I probably just did like the basic one. That's I'm yeah, that's one of the only issues I have with this sweater, but let me just show you real quick right here. I don't know if it's focused. Let me see. Yeah, it's focused. This sweater pills quite. Sorry, I got some yarn on my mouth. This sweater pills quite a bit, unfortunately. I do wear it frequently. However, for all the hype that Knitting for Olive gets, I'm pretty surprised that it pills so much. Like, I can even see it very visibly on the sleeve section. You can even see it from there. Yeah, that's my one qualm with this sweater. I adore the top section of this color work. I think I've been considering doing another one of these, omitting the cat and maybe doing a little different design down there. But just this top, just look at that. I love it. This is also the sweater where I learned to do duplicate stitch because of the many errors that I made in my color work. So another sweater of growth. I would give this one an 8.9, and I think if I were to knit this again, I may consider using a different brand of yarn, or at least a different, I don't know what they call it, but a different type of yarn from the brand. And I also think that I would lengthen the cuffs for the sleeve and the hem. I would do that as well. But I loved this sweater. It was awesome, and it's just one of those statement pieces where people are like, oh, I really like that sweater. And then you can just be proud because you made it yourself. Yeah, love this sweater. Almost a 9 out of 10. Okay, next up we have the framed sweater by Andrea Mowry. This sweater was so fun to knit. It was the project that I did directly after my Nocturnal jumper, and it is my first full body color work, the only full body color work that I have. I love it. I believe I already said it, but this is Andrea Mowry. This is also known as the 2024 Rhinebeck sweater. I did not participate in Rhinebeck. I was far too pregnant, very, very heavily pregnant, and that just wouldn't have been a fun situation for me. So this sweater is knit up using the Biches and Buches Le Coton and Alpaca, which is a blown yarn, and I also used the Scout from Kelbourne Woolens, but I used it in the shade Mulberry Heather. Then I used Bad Sheep yarn, merino worsted in the shade Impressions, and that is just the darker blue color here. I love this sweater. It is very, very dense, very dense. That's, well, okay. My one issue with this sweater is that it is both dense and 3/4 sleeve, which doesn't really make sense to me. So I think that I am going to go back. I mean, I definitely have enough to go back and lengthen this sleeve to be a full length, maybe just bracelet length. I tend to like those. But that's the only thing, the only issue I have with this sweater. This color work was so fun. This is the first, oh, look at that. I'm very proud of this one. Yeah, I loved this. This was a lot of float catching. Also, this sweater, I did not know this going in, but I mean, I guess I could have assumed it. But for the two, or I guess the singular pattern repeat here, which is 2 rows of that color work section, it is flat color work. And that was just a whole new thing to get my head around, because it was holding the color work strands in the back of the yarn and the front of the yarn. It was a little mind boggle, but it was so worth it. I wore this sweater so much during the beginning of winter, and I think I'm going to start to again, but it's just that dense fabric. You know, my house is warm. It is warm. The outside is cold. I think it's been like 20 something all day. So I suppose if I go out, I shall wear this sweater. I love it. I don't know if I've rated already, but if I have and it's a different number, then that's going to be embarrassing. But the number that I'm going to give this now is an 8.3 out of 10. I do have yarn already to make a different version. It's going to be a cotton linen blend because I want a lighter one that I can wear year round. So I'm excited to do that. The pattern, awesome. Just my project version of it. I have a few things that I'm not the biggest fan of, but let's just give a moment for that Biches and Buches halo. Oh, it's not showing as much as it does in real life, but ooh, that boy's fluffy. So I love this pattern, love this project. Let's move on. So to continue with the Fabel knitwear line, this is the Junior Bestefar cardigan that I test knit, which that was my first test knit, which was a very fun experience. I test knit for my son Lewis. This is knit using Bad Sheep Yarns Witch King from the Lord of the Rings series. It is the fingering weight version, and it is a superwash merino. This pattern, even in its testing stage, was really nicely done. I think there were just a couple issues with the math that didn't add up for some of the size grading, but it was very obvious to fix in it. And of course, being a test knit, she just fixed it right away, which was wonderful. It is a small stitch, I don't remember, but it is very cute. Look at these little buttons, so adorable. I just love it. I would give this project overall, I mean, pretty much a 10 because like my son looks so cute in it, but I would probably give it an 8 out of 10 simply because it rides up quite a bit. So I do recommend going longer than the pattern suggests. And I would also say, I would probably do something a little different with this collar. I might do a double knit or a knit and fold it over type little button band. So that's pretty much it. This pattern, love it. I actually also have another version that I can't seem to find right now, but it's using this yarn so we can match because there really aren't many options for mother-son matching, but now we can. All right, moving on. My final Fabel knitwear piece is the Norma Jean turtleneck. I got this pattern for free as I guess just as a thank you for test knitting the Junior Bestefar cardigan. I love this sweater. I do want to frog it and then re-knit it, just put it right back into the same project. It was my error. I overestimated the broadness of my shoulders, and in turn, it's just too broad. So it makes this puff part for the sleeve start at the edge of my shoulder and kind of creating an expanded version of my shoulders as opposed to starting right here and kind of encapsulating the shoulder as it falls down into the sleeve, which is what I would prefer. You might prefer the other very 80s puff sleeve type look, but you know, that's not really what I'm going for with it. This pattern, the only difficulty I had with it is that I had a lot of issues understanding the wording for the increases right here, the rate of increase. I had to frog it probably, I think like twice and redo it. No biggie, but yeah, that's the only issue. And then again, that still may have been my error. I don't know. And this is knit up using the Kelbourne Woolens Scout in the Mulberry Heather shade. This is 100% wool, 274 yards per skein, which I think is very nice for a yarn that's $18 a skein. I believe I used 2 1/4 skeins for this, which I thought was pretty nice. So I'm very excited to knit this up again and add this to my wardrobe. All right, this next pattern is just solidifying in my mind why I do not like superwash merino, which pains me because all of the really nice like indie dyers with all those beautiful skein colorways, almost all of them use superwash merino, and it just, anyhow, I'll just get into it. This is the sweater number 9 light, and this is by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I am using the yarn Hikoo from Sueño, and it is a 100% superwash merino in the shade Strawberry Shortcake. Very cute color. I love it. And this sweater fit me perfectly before I washed and blocked it. I loved it. I am going to make another one, but I'll save the details of that for my next video, which will be 2025 makes or plans. And it's just, I should have more closely read how to wash and block superwash merino, because this thing expanded so much. Right now, the sleeves are already pretty long for my taste, but they were so much longer because, I mean, probably without exaggerating, they were at least a hand longer than what I wanted because of how I washed and blocked them, which was unfortunate. I had to unravel a lot of the body, a lot of the sleeves, and I have so much of this yarn left over now. I don't know what I'm going to make with it. I might make some cozier socks because they are sport weight, so it's a little thicker, but I might do that. That may be nice. Yes, I wear this sweater constantly. Normally I wear it over top a white long dress that I have, and I normally wear that to church. It's just great. This is also my first experience using a tonal yarn, which, had I known before starting this project, I probably would have done, I don't know what it's called because I haven't done it, but where you swap skeins as you go along so that you don't get this difference between here, because this is nice, but this here, not the biggest fan of that. And it is all over. But yeah, this pattern was good. I had a lot of difficulty with the clarity of the formatting, but that seems to be, no, I shouldn't say that's a common trend. It's only 2, I think, of the patterns that I'm reviewing, but that was difficult for me. Nonetheless, I love this sweater. I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10. In spite of how much I wear it, I do wish there were some things that were different. And let's move on to another superwash merino project. So this project is the Farnham tee by the Knit Purl Girl. I am using Bad Sheep yarn in the colorway Emma from the Jane Austen collection. This is a sport weight. This is a heavily modified version of this pattern. I did make one prior to this that I frogged because what type of idiot uses, I shouldn't say idiot, that's harsh. What type of person uses a DK/worsted weight alpaca for a t-shirt? And I heat up real quick, so I didn't make a good choice there. I frogged it. This modified version, I did a little bit of a mock turtleneck here situation. I also omitted the sleeves and just went for an immediate cuff. This fits so nicely. It's like, I mean, you'll see, but I really love how this looks. This is another one that grew a lot when I blocked it, but I think it was for the better because I love this sweater or shirt. I don't know. I will give this one, because it's not completely my style, I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. The pattern, I will give an 8.5 too, because I think that the pattern deserves more than what I made of it. It is typically supposed to be a striped t-shirt, and it has this wonderful like V kind of detailing on the shoulder if you do the stripes. and I'm very excited to do another one of these. I am going to use stripes. I am also using the same linen cotton blend that I plan to use for my framed sweater. Yeah, great one. Love it. So I figured I would review the sweater that I'm wearing right now. This is the Woodfolk sweater by the Petite knitter, once again, who I love. And I'm doing a test knit for. That's crazy to me. And it's also a test knit where the yarn is sponsored for it. I feel like that's just like, that's another level for me. I feel like I feel very excited is how I feel. Anywho, oh, sorry, this is for the next one. This sweater, Woodfolk sweater, is a fingering weight color work circular yoke top down sweater. And I did it to a bracelet length, and I love this sweater. I finished washing and blocking it 2 nights ago, and it is using the Knitting for Olive Merino. I used the shades Bordeaux, Copper, Petroleum Green, and Pearl Gray. I thought it was great. I am a little nervous to see if there's any of that similar pilling to the heavy worsted, but we shall see. I hope not. This was a lot of work. It was a fingering weight colorwork sweater. Lots to do. However, the fingering weight being color work made it go by so much quicker. So that was awesome. I finished this one in about 1.5 months. I started it about a week after my son was born, and I finished it like a week ago. Just washed and blocked it in a couple days. Yeah, that makes sense. So this sweater was a joy to make. I really loved it. It's just, she's so good, the petite knitter. She takes a lot of inspiration from the Arctic and the animals of the Arctic. Her version of this is 2 colors. I believe it's a mauvey brown and a cream color. It looks very pretty, but I adapted it. And she takes a lot of inspiration from the animals. She has the cutest little line of animal sweaters where it's like caribou and fox. Oh my gosh. And I think there's a squirrel one. I am going to be knitting that squirrel one soon. I love this sweater. I love this designer. I'm really happy with it. I would give, oh, one thing about the yarn, it was very splitty, very splitty. And that's just something to be aware of going into it. Doesn't really make too much of a difference. There are a few things, a few stitches here where I can like rub up here and I feel like, oh, okay, this is like half a stitch sticking out. So I should have been a little more careful with that, but no biggie, who cares? And I would give this sweater a 9.5 out of 10. I love it. I think it's great. I'm excited to do more of her patterns. She's awesome. She's awesome. And I want her book, Arctic Knits. It's a little expensive for me right now, but I will get Arctic Knits at some point. So that's great. For my final knit sweater, this is the Moby Sweater Man. I knit this for my first anniversary present for my husband. It is knit up using Drops Lima, and this is, I don't know if I said, this is the petite knitter. This pattern was very easy to follow. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be a little more complex than it actually turned out to be, except that's just due to the faux cabling here that I did not know was faux cable. So that's wonderful. There are only 2, I'll say 4 cables throughout it, because there's pretty much this one, and then the 2 sleeves. That's it. It's so simple, and the instructions are very clear as well. The charts are perfect. I loved it. The issue that I did have with this pattern is that the armhole length was very, very small. My husband would definitely not have been able to fit his arm through it, and for me, it probably would have been like right up to the armpit, which I don't particularly enjoy. I don't know, maybe that's your style. Maybe you like it, and that might be a benefit for you. The collar as well, I did put in some elastic to it. It's just very wide, and that is my bad because all of the pictures have a wider neck, and I guess I just didn't notice that. The Drops Lima is pretty itchy, in my opinion, but husband seems to love it. I think he kind of likes that whole like authentic 100% wool hand knit sweater experience, and it's not really my style, but I will be knitting one of these. Absolutely, I'll be knitting one of these for me. I am going to go a size up because I do want a way baggier feel than this one has, but I saw, what was it? I think it was Handmade by Florence. She had a video where she did this one. I don't believe she did the man version, but she did the Moby sweater. And she had the genius idea to do a cream or a white base with either speckles or tweed. It looked so lovely. I think I'm going to do that, but I haven't decided on what color. I tend to stay away from the lighter colors for me, but it has to be a light color. It just has to. That's what the pattern wants. It wants it. So I would give this one an 8.5 out of 10 because of the armhole, the collar, and the itchiness of the yarn. But this took me about a month to do alongside this sweater. So we both had our Christmas sweaters. Yeah, love it. And that is my last knit sweater. So I do have 2 crochet sweaters, and then I have some accessories, not all accessories. I just didn't really feel like rounding them all up, but I'll show you those. So these 2 sweaters are just, what are they? I mean, they're just granny squares. It's just one big granny square for the front, one for the back, one for the sleeve, so it's a straight sleeve, one for the other sleeve. 4 balls of yarn. I got it from Joann's, and I don't remember what type it is, but it's one of the ones that's like party or fiesta or something, and they're really comfy. I really enjoy these. I think I'm going to make them again in a natural fiber simply because it is, I mean, the acrylic, it's 100% acrylic. The acrylic is so sweaty, and I wish that I could wear it in the summer. I really do. I love them. They kind of make me feel like, I was going to say Stevie Nicks, but honestly, I feel more like Florence and the Machine when I wear these. I love it. I love it. So yeah, that's going to have to happen. I do plan on wearing this one though with the same long white sweater that I typically wear underneath this one. I think that'll look really nice. This one I have to get rid of though. It is just too small now, and I don't know. I have a few sister-in-laws who I think would like it. So that is that. Overall, I would give these a 4 out of 10 because of the lack of wearability, in my opinion. And I don't know if I said this, but the pattern was self-drafted simply because it's just 4 granny squares. So I don't have a rating of that. And those are my crochet items. All right, now we have this hat and this headband. Oh, I have it is a Blanche ear warmer, and this is a free pattern on Ravelry. Get that again so I can tell you who it's by. I believe it's Marianna Mel. Yes, Marianna Mel. Free pattern on Ravelry, Blanche ear warmer. This is also a free pattern, but unfortunately, I don't know the name of it. So this is using the Madeline Tosh Fatal Attraction. And this is, Pashmina in the shade Fatal Attraction. This is a 75% superwash merino, 15% silk, and 10% cashmere. It is a sport weight yarn, and I love these. I wear this all the time. Do need to go soon. It's saying more light required, and it's not going to get any brighter, so I'll just pick up the pace. This is also using the Juniper Moon Herriot Fine, and I don't remember the colorway, but this is the first project that I ever made. I wear these all the time. I wear them out. I will never use this yarn again for a sock, but I will use it as frequently as I can for anything else. I love it. And I think that's it. That's it. Thank you so much for staying tuned for this whole video if you made it this far. If you did not, you won't see this message, but thank you for watching what you did. This is going to be fun. I'm very excited for where this whole YouTube medium takes me, and I would really love if you guys could give me some constructive criticism, veering on the positive side, please. Just tell me things that you think that I can implement in future videos that I might enjoy to do, maybe a difference in background, whatever, lighting, I don't know. This is my first YouTube video. I'm a real beginner at this. So please just send me those comments. Comment what you are most excited for to knit in the next year. Maybe I could look at some of those responses and maybe steal some for my next video, which is going to come out probably in a week, and that's going to be the 2025 plans for knitting. Yeah, so thank you again and have a great night.